Hello, friends. The sun is shining. It's springtime. The snow is gone, and we're getting ready for a great season ahead. As you can see, my bay is still completely empty. My car is still in the trailer. I'm hoping to bring it out this week, but today we'll be focusing on my buddy Greg and his beautiful twin turbo LS Ford hot rod. Stay tuned, and hope you like it. Greg, thanks for showing me the car. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. We've been putting it off, but it's good to finally do it.
Hey, how many years have you been working on this thing?
It was 5 years, but I don't think I'll ever be done. You know, it's you see things you want to redo and re-engineer, and
For some reason, I swear it's been longer than 5 years.
oh yeah, well I've been testing it for probably 3 years.
Yeah.
So no, it started in probably 14, 15 is where most of the work was done.
Right.
And then and it seemed like that last little bit took a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's as cool as it looks. There's quite a few challenges.
Oh yeah.
So you started off in building it in your shed as a father and son project.
Well, that's what I sold it to my wife as, right? Because I knew I was going to be spending some bucks,
Right.
And but it worked out good. In fact, I think all of my kids had a chance to partake in some part of it. I know it was a family affair when we actually lifted the body over top of the cage.
Wow,
and down onto the chassis.
So yeah, I remember you guys are like a family farm.
Yeah.
And how many kids do you have?
So we've got 6 kids.
6 kids, and you're, I mean, just pretty well the grassroots farm as far as.
Yeah, just a mixed farm kind of thing.
No additives,
nothing big, nothing special, and yeah, this was built in the farm shop. And somebody from the car club, I think, called it best. It's a barnyard build.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it's a good title.
So you have this little red-looking building. It's called the Ranch House, which is named after. So there's some lettering on the car because of that. And
yeah, so it's a little free advertising for our bed and breakfast, basically.
So it's powered by what?
Yeah, well, this is a near zero energy building. You know, I did a lot of solar design stuff in the past, and we have a couple micro generation setups, and this is one of them. And it was built to be extremely efficient, and it is. It uses approximately 10% of the natural gas that a normal building. Wow. It's 6,000 square feet. Yeah. And of course, electricity is minimal.
That's crazy. I mean, so you get this guy that's kind of green, but yet you're
I burn a lot of fuel.
So, this is awesome. So what kind of, so what year the body and all that kind of stuff?
So it's a 1929 Ford 2-door sedan.
Okay.
And
actually, I just filmed a sedan this morning.
Oh really?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, a nice red one. Doesn't look quite like this, but
the body is the only piece that's left from stock, except for the front 6 inches here of the frame.
Sure, you wanted to still
maintain
the look, right?
That little look there. A lot went into the changes in the body, though. We of course chopped it 5 inches. You know, you take out all the wood that was in originally, and that was all replaced with steel to square tubing to strengthen it up. All of the joints in the panels were tied together and welded. We had to put in some extra panels on the roof to put in this sliding roof as well. Yeah, it was a bit of a chore.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
And you're a real short guy, and like how the heck do you fit in there? Like that's the crazy part. How do you see?
It's not the greatest for visibility. The hardest part is the stoplights.
Okay.
You really hope that you don't get a stale green, because if you get within a couple hundred feet of the light, well, you lose it in the visor.
Okay.
And I do have a camera set up for looking out the front and one for looking out the back. And
So a fairly high-tech car.
well,
Right? I mean,
we still want to, be able to see things.
Okay.
And we'll probably change up some of those to get even better stuff
Okay.
in there.
So what I guess so what inspiration gave you to put in the big wing out the back?
Well, it came from first off a little trial and error. These things are pretty square in the back, and when accelerating past 120, 130 miles an hour, the back end was actually getting light.
Really?
And so I'm still accelerating at that speed. And so you would start to feel the back end get loose.
Okay.
And so I did a little bit of looking around, and I saw a guy in Texas, and he has a great big one, and I thought I'd just do a little downsized version, and it was amazing how stable.
Really?
This thing at I won't say how fast it's been. Because my wife might watch. It's incredibly stable at high speed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have coilovers, and you're just dialing them in here just not too long ago, right?
Yeah. So we're still making changes. We found out that the original springs were a little too heavy, and so we've got lighter springs that are probably going to go in maybe tonight or tomorrow.
Okay.
Because we're hoping to be racing this weekend, and the whole car was built to be a street legal drag car capable of 9 seconds flat, 150 miles per hour in the quarter.
And it's funny that you say that it's a drag car, but yet I remember dropping it off just outside of Edmonton, which is 350 kilometers away, and you sat on your ass in that thing and drove it all the way back, and no issues.
No. It's very it's not comfortable, right, to drive for like around town or whatever, but just going down the highway, you can make yourself relaxed. And I did a 300-kilometer poker rally with it, and that trip, and I'm hoping to get into the drag and drive events, and eventually put a little trailer behind it and go racing for a week.
I'm not sure where you're going to fit the hitch, but
I think we're going to build it right off of the parachute mount.
Yeah.
We'll come off that because that goes right back to the frame, and it's the exact same as you would have for a trailer hitch as far as the welding that goes there.
Nice.
And but we kind of built it from the back forward, and we put everything.
Windy day.
It is, yeah. We wanted everything to be capable of holding 1,000 horsepower, and so the rear end is a Ford 9-inch with a spool, aftermarket axles. We're only running a 3.0 gear for the main reason being it's a turbo car.
Yeah.
They tend to have pretty low numerical gears.
That's why you can do it to highway speed.
Yeah, at highway speed it just putters along.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So this car seems quite well engineered. What's your background? People always ask me, it's great about the cars, but tell me why that person got into it, and tell me, they're like, tell me your age. I don't want to ask you your age, but they're like, how old is this guy? And how old are they? And what made them get into it?
Yeah.
And those are the questions that people have.
Yeah. Well, I guess our family was always car crazy, and the previous build to this was 30 years ago almost. Wow. And that was a 1973 240Z.
Wow.
With a 350 Chev in it.
Okay.
And turbo 400.
Wow.
And whole body kit done on it, and it was wild. It was fun. And but then I took a break to have 6 kids.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I was in the military. I was a flight engineer on the search and rescue helicopters.
Okay. Neat.
So for that job, you learn basically all of the trades: engine, airframe, electrical, the whole works. And so, I was kind of used to tinkering with things, and this was a pretty big undertaking.
Oh yeah.
You know, there was a ton of welding that went into it, and there was a lot of sitting on a stool.
I'm sure.
And looking at something and then taking it apart and put it back together. And, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud of it. Just, you know, watching on the sidelines for the last little while.
Yeah.
'Cause we you know, we've known each other for a while, but then I met you at the Red Deer swap meet, and I seen you and your son walking around, and I'm like, I thought you were just into chickens, right? And you're like, no, we're going to build this, you know, this car, and we're going to have twin turbo, and I'm like, twin turbo, what? And you know what? And here it is, right? So obviously it's an LS, but what kind of displacement are we talking about?
So it's a 2003 Chev 5.3.
Okay.
And it has a stock crank, but it has forged rods, pistons in the heads. It's got the trunnion upgrade, of course, double springs, titanium retainers, aftermarket push rods. It's got a twin turbo cam in it. And then, of course, it's all Holley fuel injection.
Right.
And computer runs the whole thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, 2 turbos. You know, I saw my first twin turbo car probably a few years before it, and I actually drew this car on a on a piece of paper about 3 years before I started building, and it's close to what the artist had put down.
And the artist is you.
Yes. I think my headers were a little bit more wild. They had a lot more curves in them.
That's cool. So so obviously this, like the exhaust system, the way you have everything is, that was just more because you had the room. It looks pretty aggressive. Looks like at times looks like it's part of the frame, right? It's just, you know, the way you look at it.
A little bit, yeah. We did. We had lots of room, and I wanted them up high and kind of in your face.
Yeah.
You know, you get lots of these Model A's that have the great big blowers, you know, sticking up, and they look pretty cool. I thought, well, why not make a couple of obnoxious turbos up there in the air? And but I'm rethinking it as we go along, and we may make some changes in the off season and actually reverse them and bring the turbos back here.
Oh, okay.
And it'll shorten up the exhaust,
Yeah.
and because we might be changing out the bigger turbos.
Okay. Well, so you're testing tuning this weekend.
Yeah.
And then I mean, your problem was just hooking up, right?
It was, yeah. Last year when we ran, the mile per hour did not match the times because we were loose the whole way.
Well, there's a video of you smoking your tires at
the finish line.
At the finish line, right?
Yes.
Which is
yeah, that was racing that Tesla.
Right.
And yeah, so that was a lot of fun and amazing. You know, they had video footage of the car a little bit sideways and smoking the tires going through the finish line.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I know one of your issues you had. I think you were coming to the Cherry Grove Car Show at that time. Is your rad wasn't held up properly?
Yes.
And you started blowing stuff.
Well, we it's funny when you start getting into boost, things do start blowing apart. So it was actually the intercooler tube.
Yeah.
The main tube going back to the throttle body. I maybe got a little exuberant on the way there, well, and
things were going well,
and a clamp wasn't tight, and it blew it off.
Right, things are going well, so you're like, hey, it's. I mean, that's part of.
I've learned from it. You cannot tighten those things enough.
Wow, eh? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Independent front suspension.
Yeah, just a Mustang too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and it handles really well there in the front.
So, what's been your biggest challenge with this thing, as far as? I don't say transmission.
Well, it was the problem last year. Yeah, we.
Because he had, I think he almost did. You have it for sale last year at the car show?
Oh no!
You were thinking about it.
Yeah, it was frustrating me for sure last year. I didn't get in near the seat time that I wanted, and because we had, figured out most of the engine issues.
Yeah.
And then we had transmission issues, and so now I think we're pretty good for this year.
Yeah.
And we've added in CO2. So there's a CO2 bottle in the cab,
Okay.
and it's going to control through the computer our wastegates,
Okay.
so that we can actually change the amount of boost, you know, as you go.
Wow.
So on release of the trans brake button, if you only want 5 pounds of boost,
Sure.
it'll be there. But in a second and a half, you could be at 20 pounds.
Nice.
And
Nice, like nice progressive
yes,
boost.
yeah.
Okay.
So that you aren't applying too much power right off the bat. It gives it a chance for the thing to catch a little
Yeah.
traction.
Yeah. Of course, you got obviously you got some Holly training done.
Yeah.
I mean, that was done in Edmonton. And,
Yeah, I took it in Edmonton. A fantastic course, and it's the way to go.
Yeah.
It's, you know, we built cars
Right.
30 years ago.
I know.
And you know, it was all carbs. The fuel injection was pretty rudimentary at that point in time, and but now what you can do with these computers is absolutely
Unreal.
amazing. Yeah.
But you also you were helping Trent wire some of his setup there.
Yeah.
That's going to be wild.
It is going to be a crazy car. Yeah, nearly twice the horsepower of this in an El Camino, and it's going to be a fun car. Yeah.
Wow. No, it's Thanks for showing it. I mean, it's this thing is crazy inside. That's for sure. You locked me out, or you got?
No, it's just.
It's special.
Well, it's nearly 90 years old. Come on, yeah, it's a.
There we go. You got a yank on it.
A little tension in and a little pull out. Yeah, just 2 racing buckets, 10-point cage, you know, all the harnesses, and you know, fire extinguisher. That was the big thing, you know. We wanted it to be. We knew how fast we were going to be going. We wanted it to be safe.
Yeah, safe,
and,
functional.
So yeah, we built it around the rules right from the beginning, and you know that you're kind of in a. It's a lot like. It's a cross between probably a funny car and a go-kart to drive it.
Okay.
Because you're sitting right on the ground and you've got, you know, minimal visibility. But like when you're in town, it's hilarious because, you know, my window is below everybody's bottom of their window.
Yeah.
And so they can't even see you when you pull up beside them. And but.
No, it's cool. No, I mean, I love this thing. I just the top must have been was that a challenge you put in, or wasn't too bad?
It wasn't too bad. You had to add extra
framing,
extra steel and frame here. Yeah. But it comes from Arizona, and I called the guys up and I said I need it to be able to stay on, because normally they just have one handle in the middle that locks it in place.
Okay.
I ordered it with 2. I said, it's got to stay on 150 miles an hour. And the guy said, what? I said, no, it's got to stay on. So we need 2 handles, plus the center bar for the roll cage comes right where it would have been as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to cover with this thing, or I think we kind of went over it, eh?
I think that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's a popular build now using the LS platform, and throwing, you know, that kind of modern and old together is kind of neat, right?
Cool. Well, you'll have to send me some videos of it being on the track this weekend.
Yeah. Well, I want to get some video for sure of the chute being pulled. So we're working our way towards those higher speeds.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, Greg. Thanks very much.
Thank you.